Hi, my name is Bryson Wingate. I'm currently a rising junior in the computer science major here at North Carolina A&T. Over the past couple of years, I've been lucky to work on group projects, study with friends, and take part in hackathons that push me to not only grow technically but also as a potential teammate. Something I realized throughout those experiences is how powerful it is to feel supported when you're learning. That's why I'm excited about the opportunity to be a tech fellow because it's not just about helping someone basically debug their code. It's about creating an environment where students feel seen, capable, and motivated to keep going. So in this video, I'll be walking through the three prompts provided that reflect what being a tech fellow is really all about. Beginning with prompt 1, what would I do if I did not know the answer to a coding question? Let's say I'm assisting in a lab and a student asks me a question that I don't know the answer to. The first thing I do is normalize the moment by saying something along the lines of, "That's a really good question, and I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, but I'd love to figure it out together with you." Now, saying that doesn't just build trust, it also helps students see that not knowing everything isn't a flaw. It's basically part of being human and also part of being a real developer. From there, I'd ask them several questions like what they tried already, have they looked at several examples, have they rechecked the documentation, and potentially what messages are they getting, if any. By asking these questions, I'm encouraging them to think critically and retrace their steps, which often is where the real learning happens, basically. Now, as we walk through it together, I'd show them how I might search for related issues and how to potentially filter out low quality results online and how to check official docs for reliable syntax or usage patterns. Now, if we don't solve it during the lab time, I tell them dig into it a little more after class and make sure to follow up with a clear answer or at least a few helpful resources, or either in Slack or the next time I see them in the next session. That way, I'm modeling something important here, that it's okay to pause, it's okay not to know, but what matters is that you pick yourself back up and keep moving forward. Now, on to prompt 2. Basically, how I would support a discouraged and isolated student. Let's say I see a student sitting by themselves by a lab, and when I check on them, they tell me that they're feeling discouraged and that they would rather lurk alone because they don't think they would be properly helpful in the group setting. First, I take the moment to validate their experience by saying something like, "I appreciate you telling me that, and I want you to know that it's completely normal and okay to feel this way. It doesn't mean that you're not smart or that you don't belong here. Everyone has those moments. I have those moments. Professors sometimes have those moments. Even people who seem like they're doing great have those moments." Then I'd ask them if they'd be okay walking through a small part of the assignment with me. I'd focus on a section that's approachable, something along the lines that they can solve it with just a little tiny bit of encouragement. Now, once we walk through it, if we get it right, I'd give them encouragement. I say, "Hey, you figured that out. That's the kind of thinking your group needs." And if they make a mistake, I respond something along the lines of, "Perfect. Now we got something to work with here," because mistakes are where the learning truly happen. Additionally, if they seem open to it, I'd suggest partnering with a group that I know is supportive and encouraging, maybe if just one person to start. That way they can ease slowly into group work without pressure. I'd also keep the course instructor in the loop, quietly updating them about the situation during the lab so that they can check in later and keep an eye out for any continued disengagement in case they need additional support. And after class, I document everything that happened and escalate to Diego using the correct code path channel. I'd explain how the student is feeling, what I did to support them, and whether I think they might benefit from ongoing encouragement or resources. The key here isn't just helping them in the moment; it's making sure that we're all connected and making sure that students don't feel discouraged like they don't belong and that they do belong. Now, prompt 3. teaching a student how to find a value in an array. Let's say again I'm assisting in a study hall and a student asks me to check if a value exists in an array and return the first index if it's there or -1 if it's not. I start by saying, okay, this is cool. Making this by yourself is a really useful skill to have. Now, before we jump in, how would you describe the problem in your own words? Now, if you're unsure with the answer, I'd rephrase it simply. We have a list of values, and we want to go through the list and find out, does this specific value exist? If yes, I want you to tell me where it first appears. If no, I want you to tell me it's not there by giving me the answer of -1. Now, once that's clear, I break it down into steps using the guided questions because I'm only here to nudge them along. How we would look at it? How would we look at each item on one list at a time? Now, that would lead to a conversation about loops, and if they don't remember the exact syntax, I'd say no problem. Let's talk about the idea. We want to start at the beginning and check each one. Now, what should we do if we find the match if the item is what we're looking at is equal to the retarget, which would lead to the answer of they'll return it or they'll say the answer, and I'd confirm that is correct. Then I'd ask them, and if we check every single item in the array and never find a value, what should we return? Which the answer would be they would guess -1, and I'd also explain that's a common way programmers signal that something isn't found. Now at that point, we figure out the logic. Now I asked them to write the logic themselves and code the logic and talk it through me line by line. I wouldn't rush them. If they got stuck, I'd ask more questions such as what you're trying to compare here, what should this line do, and I'd also make sure to pause and celebrate whenever they make progress. Now, once the code works, I'd say something along the lines of, okay, now explain it to me how it works like you're teaching a rookie, which should generally help reinforce their understanding if they explain it properly. Finally, I remind them that while there are built-in methods in some languages that can do this, it's not about about solving the problem. It's about knowing how the problem is solved. And by the end of this, they did not just solve the problem, they actually owned the knowledge of how they solved it. Now, thank you for watching. I'm genuinely excited for the opportunity to be a tech fellow because I definitely know what it feels like to struggle in this field and what a difference it makes when someone's in your corner to support and guide you throughout your way.